All right, welcome to Align Trading, taking a look at Friday's SPY recap before taking a look at what to be watching into Monday and the rest of next week. But here on Friday, first thing I explained in the pre-market brief for Discord members was to be watching for this potential head and shoulder as we did have a slight gap down. And if you were looking for this to close the inverse cup, well, we need to be seeing this head and shoulder starting to form right here, and it initially did, but we could not see that continuation to close that cup here at this 5-day moving average. And then from there, right, if we saw a handle, we could have seen lower closing this gap after grabbing that liquidity. I also explained that you have to be paying attention to this blue and yellow, right, that is continuing to bring us up here on the way. And you see how we form that inverse head and shoulder within it once again, and we get that move up right there initially. However, after this, we did not see that purple buying continuation remain, and then you see how we failed to create that controlled selling within that blue and yellow here once again. Same thing, even if we dug a little deeper, we did not get to see that breakout. Now, it still can be forming, and we'll talk about that a little later here, how this could be ready for another move up. Otherwise, you can see how this possible larger inverse head and shoulders forming here at this previous high, and we will want to be seeing this forming right here with that inverse cup close back to the 5-day moving average. But now we will go over the 1-minute chart and the intraday analysis here, taking a look at the microstructure and algorithms. But just before doing that, I wanted to say, if you have been thinking about joining us for some time or considering it, right, please do make sure you get that lower rate before it increases here at the beginning of the new year. Also, please remember this is not a signals group. I do not want you to join if that is what you're looking for. You have to be willing to learn this in order to do it every single day of your life. As you can see here, that is what we do, but it is not going to be easy. Enough said there. Let's take a look at the chart now. So as I was explaining here in the morning, if you are looking for this move to head down, not a good enough trade to be taking that to the downside, right? It is a little bit in between structures right there. You can see maybe a head and shoulder, but you also have to respect this blue and yellow controlled selling and that inverse head and shoulder that is forming right there, especially after a strong move up in the first few minutes. So now at this point right here, we understand that we are within this red algo, and we are looking for this blue and yellow to continue working right here if we want that continuation that we talked about. And if you are looking to short this, we need to be seeing this head and shoulder forming right here, right? Inverse cup heading down, breaking out of this tapering, which is that white right here. So it takes a little bit more time to form. You can see we get this nasty chop here for quite some time. However, right, we are still tapering. You can see we are not able to break above this resistance level. And so you're still waiting for this inverse cup to be trying to form and this larger head and shoulder. You can see how we formed this one right there. Here is that handle. So an initial move down right there, grabbing that shoulder, you see. Now with this right here, we did not quite close this inverse cup at low of day, but I explained, right, to be looking for this handle right here within that white and pink, and you see how it forms. So right here, right, we're looking for that. We close the inverse cup. This handle does not quite break through yet. Takes a bit more time, and you see how this beautiful larger handle starts to form. You even have another inverse cup, and look at that perfect handle within the white for this head and shoulder. We close that inverse cup at low of day, so you should be fully protected at this point. And then again, right, we're looking for this same white and pink algo to continue working, and there is another slight move down. You can see, right, another inverse cup close at that low of day, tiny handle, small follow through, does not end up being much. Now, if you were looking to go long, like I explained, we could grab this liquidity right here with this larger shoulder. However, we could not form that. You see how when we try to form it, unable to grab this liquidity above, and we formed that resistance at the prior level. So you just have to be understanding what is going on here, how to scalp within these levels, because sure, we can be tapering right within this blue, but unless that breaks out and you have that required structure, even a close of a cup with a handle is going to be a stronger play. Now, with this going on here on the 1 minute chart, I explained on the 30 minute that you have to be paying attention, right, for this head and shoulder back off of that prior high. And you see how we start to form that resistance right here and get this move back down. Um, and then, same thing, right? If you're looking for that yellow and blue controlled selling, just got to wait for the structure to form with that inverse head and shoulder. We talked about grabbing this liquidity, which we were unable to do. So again, as I'm explaining here, if you are looking for that continuation, gotta see this white continuing to work right here with these head and shoulders on the way down, maybe another inverse cup, right? As we are confined within this blue. And I was explaining what needed to occur here with this tapering that you can see as well if there was going to be a move and how you could start to play that. Now, with us breaking out of that blue right here, you can see how there is this inverse head and shoulder. We start to form that base right here, even have a cup and handle, and then we close this larger cup back at this level right here. Now, when it is time to hold above this price with that handle, right, we are unable to do so, and we do not get that continuation, grabbing this liquidity and closing the cup back at high of day. As I explained, if you were trying to short this, what you would need to see is this head and shoulder forming right here, grabbing that liquidity once again. So there's an entry up here. If you see that head and shoulder, even a small handle, maybe you took that down, to the downside right here, but we did not quite grab this liquidity yet. You can see how we're trying to form support on this pink level, but there is that white handle and another head and shoulder and inverse cup that starts to form, and we finally close that cup back at low of day again. From there, right, we're looking for this white and pink to build another handle. No follow through, and it is really just a chop fest. So like I explained here at the end of the day, if there is going to be a move, we did close this inverse cup, can start to see this handle building here. So you need to be seeing that head and shoulder. Maybe there is some sort of finish. Otherwise, right, we are trying to grab this shoulder right here and head back up, maybe trying to close this cup. And you see how we start grinding higher into the close. Now it's time to go over what to be watching into tomorrow and the rest of next week. So you can see how we are forming this head and shoulder that we talked about right here. And we are continuing to watch this. If we do want to head down, first thing we need to do is break this level, grabbing this liquidity and closing that inverse cup at the 5-day moving average. Now from that point, we can either form this handle and continue lower, closing this gap, maybe even grabbing this liquidity right here and closing this larger inverse cup like so. Otherwise, we are still watching this blue and yellow. Anytime that you think, hey, maybe it's time to short, right? If you were chasing that right here, you have the inverse cup. However, this handle does not follow through, and you have to understand that it is just blue and yellow controlled selling. We form that inverse head and shoulder, and there we go, pushing back out. So same thing right here. Pay attention. If we do want to form that, closing this cup, we still can push out. Can just be blue and yellow controlled selling right here, especially if we cannot take out this level. And then if the 5-day becomes support, right, you could see how we could build that larger inverse head and shoulder right there, grabbing this liquidity. But taking a look at the daily chart here to give some more context and a larger view of the trend, as we talked about with this upper Bollinger, we were looking for this retest or the retest of the 5-day, as this is the range that we are in between. You can see right here at Monday, we knew that our range was going to be between these, and sure enough, we stay between that range. But going into next week, if we want to continue higher, right, look for this upper Bollinger to continue moving up along with the 5-day. Otherwise, you see how maybe there is some sort of pullback, can be just to the 5-day and then continue, or if we turn this 5-day into resistance, may get a larger pullback here, as I talked about with this gap. And then from there, you could see that 20-day retest as it is starting to flatten out before we make a larger move back to the upside. It's like this. You get that upper Bollinger retest, trending up with the 5. You get the 5-day retest, initial bounce. We turn it into resistance, and there is your 20-day retest. We form support off of it, and we're back up. So pay attention to this over the next week, maybe even next 2 weeks with the holidays coming up. Now, Wednesday and Thursday, we do have some important news, so be paying attention to that. Other than that, though, that is all I have for the video. Thank you everyone for watching, and I will see members in the morning.